It's 25 after 9 and I just finished my 50-minute run. It's been an interesting day today. I woke up, looked at my Ultrahuman app, which is the sleep app that I bought to see how good of a sleep I had. I didn't think I had a great one, but it turned out to be better than I thought. But what really, I started looking at all the stats, like when you first get an app or some, it's just a little overwhelming. Some of them, there's so many, push this button, it says this, what's that. So I really started looking at it closely and looking at things like HRV, which is heart rate variability. And they also have, your oxygen, VO2 max. And then they had things like where your heart rate was, your average, and it's just a whole platitude of different things on there. Still overwhelming a bit. At the end of the day though, there's one area that says, or on each of these levels, it tells you how you compare to people your age. First of all, it said that I was 62 years old in terms of fitness, which I was like, what? 62 years old? Like, how good a shape are all these 62-year-olds? I might not be in great shape, but I'm running I just finished a 50-minute walk. I done 90 minutes on the bike. I look at it and I go, feeling pretty good. If I'm 62, I must have this incredibly, skewed view of how good a shape people are in that are 62 years old. So that was the first thing that threw me this morning, and it kind of depressed me. And in a way, it also had me thinking, like, is this app wrong? Are these numbers wrong? All that sort of stuff. And the reality is that after I thought about it more, I thought, you know what, the apps, they're not wrong. Because if I was in great shape, I'd be running without having to stop. If I was in great shape, I'd be running a 6:30 or a 6 minute or a 5:30 per kilometer pace in the run. So it's not wrong, but it was a little bit depressing. So they turned out okay. Felt like I had decent energy. So today though, I was able to slip away because I've been negotiating with a guy over Facebook Marketplace for a new sprocket. Really not negotiating. I'm prepared to pay him what he was looking for. It was more that he says, well, I'm out of the country for 3 months. And he had a brand new sprocket, carbon fiber, never used, $250 Canadian. And I needed one for my bike, Chrissy, my original P2C Cervelo bike that did all of the Ironman racing that I've done. So I had that bike, and finally the guy was there and he told me, yeah, come pick it up. My brother's gonna, be able to meet you. So anyway, long story short is I picked it up, and I also had some time ago picked up some new aero bars for the bike because I don't know, it's like rebuilding an old car. Anyway, I took that into the shop today. They're now going to put everything together. I told them I'm away starting next week. It would be great to have everything in place by then. And while I was there also, I picked up some spacers for the brakes on the bike on my Defy. Spacers I guess these are hydraulic brakes. This is all new to me, technology on bikes, and that if you transport your bike, you should have a spacer in there, or it could mess up your brake somehow, and I would get to Southern California and I'd have to go to a bike shop and get it fixed and all that sort of stuff. So I picked that up. And then today, I don't know what's happening with the weather, but it was a beautiful day today. Got up to 9 degrees Celsius. When I got home from picking up my bike stuff, it was 4 degrees Celsius. And I said to Alice, you know what? I got to take the Christmas lights down. I didn't want to leave them until after when I get back, because all I would be thinking about for 2 months is having to take the Christmas lights down. And it's so nice out that today was the day. So got up on the ladder and took the lights down, and then also had to recharge up my Ring camera. And then the other thing I did was up in the garage, I have a bunch of triathlon, cycling, running clothes that I put into storage. And I didn't really know what was in the box. I knew there was a lot of stuff. And in preparation for the heading down to Southern California, I wanted to see what clothing I had in there and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. It was like having a time capsule, because when I did open up the box, it wasn't just triathlon and cycling and running stuff that was in there. And most of the stuff was finisher shirts for Ironman and a lot of the races that I had done. So, and shirts for triathlon back from the 80s. So it was truly a time capsule. But what I found in there that was just awesome was, I guess when I was hitting my all-time high, I said to myself, that's it, I'm getting rid of all this clothes that I have, the skinny clothes, I'm gonna get it out of the closet. But some of the clothes I really liked, and I kept it because I guess I had a glimmer of hope that maybe I could lose weight again and once again fit this clothing. So needless to say, I open up the box, I look, oh, there's a pair of Levi's jeans. And I don't have a pair of jeans that fit properly right now. And I put them on, and it's like, these things fit awesome. And then I start pulling out some of the different shirts that I have. They're great. Some of them now were a little bit tight. I put them on. I was probably 10 pounds lighter than I am now when I was wearing these shirts, and they were a little bit loose. So I'm sitting at around 197. These were more when I was around the 190 mark. However, I can wear them. And they might be a little bit snug, but I could wear them. And they were worth taking and putting into my closet now. And then I went through the closet, and I'm trying to throw stuff away, t-shirts. I'm not a hoarder by any stretch, but like most people, it's just, do I really want to, do I wear this? Haven't I wore this? So I'm trying to clean out as much as I can. So I've really thinned out my closet. And now I found all this great clothing. And then of course there's some shorts in there I found. And then of course there was old cargo shorts, which are the typical dad shorts, which I'm told nobody should be wearing those anymore. So on the advice of Allison Reed, I had to throw those away. Although I found an old cardigan sweater that was my dad's sweater that I wore in high school. And I ended up showing it to Reed, and he's like, yeah, this is great. We did some research through ChatGPT, and the sweaters back from the 40s and 50s. So it's just incredibly well made. And it said in there that it was like a work person's sweater, like it was made to be worn and not made to, it wasn't a fashionable item. And it sure held up in terms of the quality of the shirt, that's for sure. So now I went out for a run. I was a little bit depressed earlier today after I was seeing the app telling me I'm 62 years old. So after dinner, I ended up pigging out a bit on a couple of ice cream cones. So the Monjaro works, but for some reason, I guess with ice cream, it thinks of it as a liquid. And so I had that. And in a way, it kind of motivates me to get out for a run. So even if I wasn't gonna run, the fact that I've had the 2 ice cream cones, it's like, dude, you better get out there and start running. So anyway, I did. It's a nice night. You can see I have my gloves off. So it's about 2 degrees Celsius. And now it's just back home. I'll have a protein shake and get to bed and hopefully have a good sleep. And wake up tomorrow with the app maybe saying I'm 61 years old. I don't know, but definitely on one hand I'm a little depressed, I'm a little pissed off, and then there also is a little bit of motivation there. Over and out, retraining Payne.